Hello, hello, all you beautiful people. In one of our more recent videos, we kind of brushed over a model known as InstantID. It's a relatively new model with a lot of potential and use cases for it. At the time, we used it to create a comic book lookalike, but I mentioned we can go even further with the model to create even better images. In fact, it has so much we can do with this model that we are creating a short series of videos covering some of the possible things you are able to create and how. But first things first, let's go ahead and start with the basics of InstantID. And to do that, we'll begin on Compute Grid. From here, we're just going to go to the All Instances. We're going to select the machine we want to use and then click Start Instance. And while we wait, if you're new to the channel, hi! I hope you're having a lovely day. If you like this video, feel free to check out our channel where we post videos not just about ComfyUI models, but also large language models, like how to use Llama 3 in a private setting and more. Now that our instance is finished getting set up, we're going to go ahead and go to Example Machine Learning Workflows, to the SDXL tab, and then click Launch SDXL. That's it. This one click installs, runs, and sets up Stable Diffusion and ComfyUI for us. So when all is said and done, all we have to do is just click a link. We should now be looking at ComfyUI. And to begin, let's go ahead and just clear whatever workflow was loaded in. And let's go ahead and get started on our installs. So we'll go to the manager over here, to Install Models, and then search for InstantID. And now, since InstantID is technically a control net that's augmented by a Face ID model, we're going to need to install three things. First is going to be this InstantID IP adapter. This is a powerful type of model used for image-to-image conditioning. Next is going to be Insight Face for InstantID. This is what we use to extract the facial features. And then lastly is going to be our control net model itself, which we use to combine the text image prompts together for conditioning. And now that all three are installed, we're going to go ahead and before we refresh the entire page, we're just going to close out, stay in our manager, but this time go to Install Custom Nodes. And here we're going to search for the exact same thing, InstantID. Oh, it would help if I spelled it right. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and install ComfyUI InstantID native support. And now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and restart ComfyUI. And then refresh our browser window. Perfect. We can begin with our base workflow. The first thing we're going to need is a load checkpoint node. And we just want the SDXL base node for now. Next is going to be our clip text encode for our prompts. We're going to want one for positive and negative. And now normally we'd pass these into the case sampler, but today we're going to be using a node called the Apply InstantID node. And then here's where we're going to pass in positive and negative. Now moving up on our input side, we're just going to connect our models together, and then we're going to need our image. So load image node. Now for the image, we need to make sure that our base face is in about a 640 by 640 box for the instant face model. So the surrounding context around the face can obviously be larger than that, but we need to make sure that the face is clearly seen, and that way it can be analyzed properly. Perfect. And then moving on, we're going to need our control net loader. And it should automatically load in what we just installed, but just double check that it is the InstantID Diffusion PyTorch model. Next is going to be our InstantID Face Analysis node, and then InstantID model loader, which is going to be, again, the IP adapter. Now, all of these conditionings are then passed into our case sampler. And now to finish it off, we're going to get an empty latent image node. Perfect. And then, of course, VAE decoder and a preview image. And that's it. We just need to go ahead and add in our prompts. And so this is kind of what we can apply whatever base style we want to go with. And so I want her to be a fairy tale princess. Not quite like Disney, but more, I guess, old school Disney. I'm imagining kind of like Princess Aurora, so like art. I want to look kind of like it was hand painted or like hand drawn, and then just some cottagecore vibes to finish it off. And then I don't want it to be a photograph. It obviously can't be deformed, glitchy, or just glitch, I guess, noisy, realistic, and obviously I don't want it to be stock photo-esque. And let's go ahead and just click Q prompt and see what we get. Okay, so not bad, but it is very much oversaturated. That's because we have a lot of conditioning going on. Whenever you have this much conditioning or more, it's always best practice to lower the CFG. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 3 for now. I'm also going to go ahead and increase my steps a little bit. I'm feeling like, honestly, 25 feels solid enough. I'm going to make sure this is fixed, because I do like the overall vibe the seed created. Now let's go ahead and Q prompt. Ooh, much better. Okay. It is beautiful. But notice how, although we know it's her face, it still, I don't know, it still doesn't feel quite as exact as we can get it. So let's play around and see what we can do. But first, I want to save this image, and I just want to get a load image node here. Oop. It's going to be in my downloads. And we're not going to do anything with it. I just want to keep it side by side, just so you know what our starting base is. And that should eventually load in. Sometimes I don't think ComfyUI likes me and like it's out to get me. That's only on occasion though. It's like a love-hate relationship, you know? Okay, there we go. Anyway though, to get it more Zendaya-like, we're going to need more Zendaya faces. So we're going to go ahead and just copy and paste in 2 more of our load image nodes. And then we're just going to choose a few more Zendaya pictures, like this one, and then this one. And then now that we have 2 extra images, we're going to need 2 more nodes, but this is going to be the batch image node. So 1 and 2. We're going to go ahead and feed these new images into it. Oh, there we go. And then chain that to be image 1 for the next batch image node. And then we're going to move our original base image into image 2. The result is going to be all 3 images being kind of mushed together and then passed in to our InstantID. And honestly, let's just go ahead and see what differences that makes for us. Okay. So it does feel more Zendaya-esque here, kind of more like a runway look. I'm going to go ahead and then just decrease our CFG even more. I'm feeling more like a 2, honestly. And maybe increase our steps slightly higher to 30. And just to be safe, I'm also going to increase our InstantID weight from 0.8 to 0.85. And then just so you guys know, this is where we want to start at. We want to start from the beginning during the entire process. So usually you might leave that alone. And then the next is going to be end at. And so do we want to end at a full 100? Do we want to stop halfway? How far do we want to go? So still the full 100, so we're just changing the weight of everything. And I'm also just going to change our batch size while I'm at it. All right, let's go ahead and see what results this gets us now. And again, we are now creating 4 images, so we may need to be slightly patient. All right, there we go. Beautiful. I think this first one is my absolute favorite. It still follows that kind of like picturesque princess vibe. This one isn't quite right, but it does look so much more like Zendaya, I feel like. This one could be a perfume commercial. But I feel like we did pretty good. All of these images are gorgeous. I feel like even this still beginning one still shares a decent and good similarity to Zendaya. So, there you have it, folks. We've explored some of the incredible capabilities of the InstantID model, but this is still just the basics. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, like the next video in the series. Until next time, keep creating and have a fantastic day.